What is up, guys? I know. I apologize. 11 minutes late. I am sorry. It looks like you guys have already been chatting it up, which is good to see. Everybody, carrying on their own thing in the chat. We have Stephen Ryan, Business 124. Troy, what is up? Roman Sports Cards, what's up? Met Roman in North Carolina, of all places. Victor, how you doing? Adam Griffith. We have Miami Mike 305. I feel like it's been a while. Miami Mike, how are you doing with your Tyler Hero cards? Brian Sherlin, go Giants. Go Giants. What is up, Michael? Holler back, Merle World. What is up, Merle? And Merle, I have a challenge for you. If you're listening, Merle, I have a challenge for you because, guys, Merle World has a challenge as well. Merle World Cards. He does a lot of the oddball out of the box stuff that I like. And there's a certain person that I'm looking for a card of. If he has anything, I can't find anything. And it's of someone named Devin Larratt. Now, you guys might not know who Devin Larratt is. I don't expect you to. He's a really, really good person at a certain sport. Probably the best in the world at what he does. But it's a sport that not many people watch or talk about. But I would like to have his card for my collection. So with that being said, Merle, if you know who Devin Larratt is and you know if he has any items out there, let me know what he has because I can't find anything. And, he might have something crazy from like a game or something like that. But again, no, Devin Larratt. So let me spell it out in the chat for you. And I think it's 2 T's. Like that. Devin Larratt. Charles, what's up? Talatigo Lafale in the house. CNT Collectibles, what up? CNT, how are you doing? CNT, I watch your stuff now when I'm in my office. When I'm in my office at work, whether I'm working on payroll or something, I sit back and I watch your charts and graphs. CNT's got a nice little YouTube channel going on over there if you guys haven't checked it out. The Hammer is in the house. Mike White RPAs incoming. No, thank you. Not for myself. If I had them, I would be selling them, not buying them. I mean, Mike White, is he really going to be the Jets quarterback? If so, is that a prestigious job? Ask Sam Darnold. Ask Zach Wilson. Didn't do much for them. So yeah, let's. I have some packages tonight, guys. So we start getting some likes. I have 4 packages to open. Some oddball stuff, some sports. We start getting some likes. I'll open those up. And yeah, let's talk about football real quick. I saw the Mike White reference. The Jets, big upset over the Bengals after the Bengals hammered the Ravens. What's going on in the NFL? Nobody ever knows. It's rigged. Vegas has got a hand in it. Who knows? The Dolphins lost again. Big news. Surprise, surprise. At this point, I'm just fed up with the Dolphins. I'm a fan. I hate the front office. It's making me hate the team. So it's like, so yeah. And Troy says no thanks on Mike White after that. No, Victor, I spelled it out in the chat. It's Devin Larratt, Larratt, and it's Devin with an O, I believe. Soto says we're living in a simulation. It's all rigged. Anyway, guys, what is hot in the market right now? What's not? Baseball is seeing its cooling off period. We all know that. Basketball has seen its preseason and first couple weeks sizzle come and go a little bit. Now it's just the only people that are going to sustain are your non-hype guys. Football definitely pulling back. You can look to buy your guys if you're looking to hold all year. But Marvel is getting hot. And this is not coming off of Neo's video that he did today or anything like that. Marvel cards are getting hot. And I know that this is a sports card world and, the hobby in the market. Everybody talks sports cards and all the vlogs are about sports cards. And to be quite honest, a lot of what drives today's hobby market is the younger crowd. The younger crowd. When I say younger, I mean like, well, of course, you know, kids and stuff like that are the future, but the people, the younger crowd with money, like early 20s, and you know, the guys on the vlogs, the popular people. I don't want to say influencers because everybody has their own mind and can think for themselves. Influencer, boo on that. But you know, people you watch for entertainment, whether you like their vlogs or whatever. And there tends to be a little bit of a Marvel trend / push among this crowd. Now, a year ago, as you guys know, I was buying Marvel PMGs. I buy outside the box. I buy stuff that nobody else is buying just because nobody else is buying it. And when nobody else is buying it, it's cheap. Doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to take off or get popular, but it means it's cheap. It's stuff I can add to my collection. It's stuff that I can put away for an investment. And I'm in at a very low risk, very low price point. And when someone like me goes out there and says, hey, you know, just look at the trends in the cards and say what was popular in basketball and all the other sports. Everybody was buying precious metal gems and really high-end inserts and things like that. I started buying Marvel cards along the same line. And nobody cared. I'm just a small YouTuber, Flippin' Steve. Nobody cared. Prices stayed low. Now a lot of people are starting to talk about it, and all of a sudden people are starting to care. And prices are going up, like a lot. And a lot of my eBay watch list has a lot of Marvel stuff on it now. I am pulling back out of my modern basketball quite a bit. I did all my modern basketball buying leading up to the season. You guys know that. I got out of my football at the National, bought basketball. For this moment, to move my basketball now, not to keep buying it through the season. And, you know, as I get out of one thing, I look to get into another. And what do I want to get into? Right now, is it football? Not really. I don't know who I want to buy. Is it baseball? Not so much, because I'm not a huge baseball fan. Do I have a favorite team? Yes. Do I play fantasy baseball? Sometimes. But I don't follow it, and I don't prospect the minor leagues and things like that. So I got to find something that I like, that holds my attention, that I don't mind investing in or buying or collecting. You know, it'll always be Legends and Hall of Famers. I'll always buy that stuff. In fact, I bought a hockey card today. The only hockey card I've ever owned is a Mario Lemieux rookie graded in an 8. And I have that, and that's put away. It's the only hockey card I ever owned other than an Alexander Ovechkin RPA that was laid on me by a friend. Okay, it wasn't even something I went out and picked up on my own. I went and bought a hockey card today to put with my Hall of Fame auto jersey stack. And I looked at the price of this. I looked at this player. I knew he was a top 5 player of all time. I looked at the card. I'm like, it's a BGS 9 with an auto 10. I was like, it's a 2-color patch on card auto. It checked all my boxes. As you guys know, if you watch my last video, Hall of Fame legend, top 5 player on card auto with game used 2-color patch, already graded by BGS and a 9 with an auto 10. And it was $300. I told you guys I like to shoot for that $350 mark. It was $300. And I bought it. So now I'm going to have a hockey card coming on the way. I'll show you guys what it is and who it is when I get it. I'm not going to spoil that now. But you got to look in the areas where nobody's looking right now. Hockey, for as popular as it is and people talk about it, is a bit of an untapped market. Soccer was an untapped market until it became a tapped market, and now it's expensive. Hockey is untapped. They signed a deal with ESPN. There's going to be more eyes on the product. Does that mean anything? I don't know. It can't hurt, though. It just can't hurt. And then Marvel. There hasn't been, other than the Shang-Chi movie, the Eternals trailer's out, there hasn't been any Marvel movies or any, TV series or anything after the Loki ended. Everybody's waiting for the build-up and the new movies and what's going to happen and where they're going, this, that, and the other. And whether you collect comic books or not, follow the comic books, still most people go and watch the movies. These movies sell lots of tickets, make lots of money. So whether you collect Marvel cards, whether you've ever read a comic book in your life, it doesn't matter. You pay attention to the television shows and the movies. So how do you gauge it? What do you do? Do you say, can you buy? Okay, so can you prospect on Marvel heroes? This is the question. It's a question for you guys. And I know we'll talk about some sports cards and I'll get to some comments. But can you prospect on Marvel cards on the actual characters? Whether they're heroes, whether they're villains, anti-heroes, neutral, whatever. And what I mean by that is we already know that Spider-Man's super popular. Captain America super popular. Iron Man. I mean, these are like the GOATs of Marvel. But can you prospect on someone out there who hasn't hit the big screen yet and say, hey, I can buy cards of his now, and once he becomes popular on the big screen, whether he's popular in the comic books or not, because the comic books and the people who read comic books and know these characters from comic books is very small. Most of the people get their general Marvel knowledge from the movies. It's just the way that it is nowadays, unless you've been a comic book buff. But can you go out and can you buy like a hero that hasn't been on the big screen yet and be like, I'm just going to stash this card. And when he hits the mainstream, he's going to go up in value just like the other big time. Can you go out and buy some of the X-Men? Let's say Iceman, for instance. Let's just say Iceman. Can you go out and buy an Iceman card really cheap in comparison to a lot of other Marvel characters? Yes, you can. Why? Because he's not mainstream. He's not Spider-Man. He's not Captain America. He's not Iron Man. He's a member of a popular team, the X-Men. Probably the most popular team, and would be the most popular team if, Disney had the rights to X-Men. They would have probably did X-Men movies before the Avengers. But the moment that the X-Men and certain characters like Iceman or Rogue or Psylocke or certain characters hit the movies, all of a sudden they gain steam. Because remember, at one time, not many people cared about Scarlet Witch. Not many people cared about Vision. And what happened? They got a television show, and now everybody wants to buy Scarlet Witch stuff. She's one of the most popular characters in the MCU because she had a TV show. She wasn't even super huge in the Avengers movies. I mean, she built up towards the end, she was, but, coming in, Charles makes a good point. Star-Lord. I have old Guardians of the Galaxy comic books. Nobody really cared about Star-Lord. In fact, I like Yondu. Yondu, and a lot of you guys might not even know who Yondu is unless you've seen the movies. But not many people cared about Star-Lord. And then Chris Pratt portrayed him on the big screen, and everybody fell in love with him. Now, this is going to lead me into another segment. And I know I'm really hammering on the Marvel, but does it make a difference what actor plays that character? Can an actor make a character more popular? One thing that I would say for people to be careful doing if they're looking into the Marvel cards, and I'm not a Marvel card expert, but I would be careful on investing in the autographs that are autographs of the actors and actresses. Because, let's say, for instance, unless it's really going to hold the value of the person. Okay. Robert Downey Jr. was Robert Downey Jr. long before he played Iron Man. Okay. And Iron Man was out and a character long before Robert Downey Jr. was ever cast to portray him in a movie. Long after Robert Downey Jr. is gone off this earth, Iron Man will still exist because he's a fictional character in a comic book. Another actor could come along and play him in a reboot, 20 years from now. So when you're buying your Marvel cards and you're buying autographs of people who were the actors and actresses in the movies, ultimately in the end, that autograph, I believe, is going to hold the value of that person's significance as a movie star, not as their significance as a comic book character. Because, you've had multiple different Spider-Mans. Do people care about getting a Tobey Maguire autographed Spider-Man card? Not really, because it's Tobey Maguire. You would be buying it for Tobey Maguire. Now you got the new guy, the Tom kid. I can't remember his last name. I get him mixed up because of the other Tom guy that plays, Venom. But Tom Holland. So now if you were to buy a Spider-Man or card, Tom Holland autograph, you're getting an autograph of Tom Holland. You're not getting an autograph of Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a fictional character being portrayed by an actor. So that's where people could be careful, because there are pricey autograph Marvel cards out there. You know, it's the same thing with Star Wars. If you buy a Han Solo autograph card, you're buying a Harrison Ford autograph, not Han Solo. It's Harrison Ford. Okay? These are characters, not real people. You know, it's not like wrestling where the real person is actually the character. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on that, because I see people kind of going out there and paying big money for, you know, say a Vision card because it's autographed by the actor that plays Vision. But when it's all said and done, is the actor that played Vision going to be some big time star that goes down in history as this star? Or is he just a guy right now that played Vision in the movies and he's going to be forgotten, you know, when the movies are done and over with? So that's just the thing I want, you know, people to think about. And Adam says Stan Lee's auto is the way to go. And Stan Lee signed tons of stuff, tons and tons and tons and tons of autographs out there of Stan Lee. So it's going to be very, when you're looking for a Stan Lee auto, you're going to look for the right one, because he autographed tons and tons of comic books, just people taking their comic books to Comic Cons and things like that. You know, if you're looking for a pack pulled auto, there's a couple out there and they're a little bit pricey. As far as memorabilia goes, in fact, I talked about a Guardians of the Galaxy #1 that I had years ago. A friend of mine actually took that to a Comic Con for me and had Stan Lee sign it. So that is signed. But, you know, as far as stuff that's not authenticated by an outside company, something that's authenticated by a card company and pulled from a pack. For instance, he has a really nice, I believe it's Allen and Ginter, or Goodwin's Champions. Goodwin's Champions, I believe. Whichever one has the small cards and I get the two mixed up because they're very similar. I think it's an Allen and Ginter. He has a really nice Allen and Ginter card auto, but it's very expensive. Much more than if you were to just go buy an 8x10 autograph of Stan Lee. Let's see. Sylvester Stallone arm wrestling movie, Over the Top. We're going to touch on that a little bit, SimDS, in a little while when I open up these packages. So hang out. We'll talk about that. Victor says, do I think people are concentrating on Marvel because sports cards have leveled out? Like I was talking about earlier, it's a lot of the popular younger crowd. And what happens? People get bored. People get bored with things, whether it's one sport, whether it's a player. They move to the next thing. You know, I mean, look at F1. Look at UFC. It's been like, move to the next thing. Try to, you know, move to the next thing. Oh, I'm bored with basketball. What else is there? And I think a lot of it is that. People being bored with the same old, it's coming up on the season. Let's sell. Okay, the season's over. Let's buy. Okay, it's coming up on the season. Let's sell. Even myself, I'm burned out on that. And, you know, it's just, I'm glad that it's not what I do for a living. You know, I do it for fun because, you know, rebuying the same card over and over again and reselling it over and over again. If that's all you're in the hobby for is to make money, yeah, that's fine and that's great. If you do have even a slight bit of a collector side to you, though, that gets boring. I get attached to stuff. There's stuff I buy with the intent to sell, and I don't sell it. Even, I did a video talking about having an end game for a card and not getting attached. There's some things I get attached to. Just can't help it. I got a collector side to me. I do care about the cards and things like that. I don't look at a card, and when I'm looking at this is a James Worthy auto. But when I'm looking at this James Worthy auto, I'm not looking at this and seeing a $100 bill. I'm looking at this and I'm seeing a Hall of Fame basketball player autograph, and I'm like, man, that's cool. Okay, so, I get attached to certain things that I like. But yeah, it's kind of like I've always said, and I said this in my live drive, When everyone is selling the same thing, you have to have something that nobody else has to sell. If everybody has all their modern basketball on the market right now, yeah, you can sell it, but you're going to have seller competition. You're not going to get premiums. But if you have a really cool card, it may not appeal to the masses, but appeals to a niche, you know, and has its own little place in the market, appeals to a certain collector, you can make a sale. I sold a vintage soccer card the other day for $750. I paid $225 for it. So I sold it on Instagram. So I had no fees. So I made over $500 profit on that soccer card. There was nobody else selling that soccer card. Vintage soccer is rare. You don't see it every day. I put it up for sale and instantly got a hit on it because I didn't have a whole bunch of seller competition to deal with. Yes. Did I sell some Tyler Heroes? Yes, I did. Did I sell some John Morant's? Yes, I did. That stuff was super liquid. But once the buzz started to die down a little bit, you could feel a pullback on that stuff. Because I remember the first 3 or 4 nights in the NBA season, I was getting offers left and right, notifications on my phone, boom, 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 and they slowed down. I still had the same kinds of cards listed, but the interest slowed down. So then I said, okay, the interest is slowing down. Do I have something that I can put up that nobody else has? Boom, soccer card, bam, sale. So you have to think outside the box and have items that, you know, it have to be items that people are going to want. Not everybody has to want it. You only got to find one person. But stuff that you can sell when everybody else is selling the same thing. And then once everybody else has sold off their modern basketball, then go ahead and put some of your stuff up. But, you know, and that's where thinking outside the box is fun. Looking for something that someone might be interested in and trying to think ahead is a challenge. And the cards are cool. You know, it's not just a basketball player, you know, regular old card. They're neat cards and they're usually really low entry level. And I like oddball stuff. You guys know all the music stuff that I have. I don't know what kind of likes that I'm at. I'm going to get to some comments, guys. I've blabbed on long enough about some of that. The Allen and Ginter Pele auto. I see Adam talking about. I just typed in Allen and Ginter autograph last night and did a search, and there was just a long list. But I realized that in that set, you can find some oddball type stuff. If you play the rotation game, odds are you will lose. This is from Soda Lover. Well, this is kind of a gray area type question. You can play the rotation game, but you just got to be smart in what you buy, and you can't overdo it. You know, you got to pick a couple players. You can't try to buy and sell everybody. You just can't. Not everybody's going to be a superstar. But, you know, on retrospect, flip that over a little bit, because you get a lot of just buy goats, just buy goats, just buy goats. I get that a lot. I understand it. It's good. Hey, this is a stack of Larry Birds, Magic Johnsons, Dr. J's, this Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 2 entire stacks of them. And these stacks are pretty big stacks. So I get just buy the legends, just buy the Hall of Famers. Completely get it. Completely get it. The thing is there will be a next legend. There will be a legend come out of this era of basketball or football or whatever. There will be. If every draft class or if everyone who come out recently was a bust, the NBA, the NFL, the major leagues would cease to exist. There would be no superstars. So superstars are created every year, every era. So when people say just buy the goats, you know, then you miss out on an opportunity to hit somebody while they're inexpensive. It is a bigger bit of a gamble, yes, but you do have to gamble to stay ahead. If not, you're always going back and buying what has already been, what has already happened. So, I mean, you know, talking about Giannis, let's just talk about Giannis real quick. In 2013, if everybody was saying everybody was buying the GOATs, buy the legends, buy the legends. But you had one guy saying, man, I'm going to gamble on this Giannis guy. There you have it. He's a superstar. He's going to be the face of the NBA. All right. So it's like that person, whoever that may have been, took a gamble and now they're in a good situation. So pick your guy this year. Yes. You just can't pick 5. Or, I mean, much more than 5. If you pick 5 and you hit on 2, you're good. Your wins will outweigh your losses if you're smart and you hit on 2 of 5. And you hit on 2 of 5, your wins will outweigh your losses. You can argue that with me all you want, but I've been very successful in at least hitting 2 out of 5. But when you start saying 6, 7, 8 players, and then you start getting yourself over-invested, over-diversified, which there is a such thing. Diversification is good. Being over-diversified, not necessarily good. What's up, Neo? How are you doing? Jesse, what's up? Blue Thunder, TD in the house. What's up? Bravos, long for the journey. Jonas, 1966 Batman. I believe that's the one that says the Batman on the card. That's a nice card, especially in good grade. Victor says he thinks everyone is chasing the big profits we saw during the pandemic. I think it's time to just invest on longer term holds, established stuff, Hall of Famers, stuff like that. And it kind of relates back to what I just said. Yes, I did a video a long time ago where I talked about how I invest in basketball. I have Hall of Famers, what I call foundation. I have solid younger players, your guys that come in the league around 2010 to 2013 to 16, maybe even. And then I have my guys that I prospect on out of the draft. Because I always want to have something to fall back on. I always want to have a foundation to fall back on. But you can't just limit yourself to buy Hall of Famers, because unless you're strictly holding long term, because, you know, Hall of Fame type cards, unless you see what we saw last year, we just won't see again. And the sooner people realize that, the better off they'll be. I understand that. I've understood that for a while, that the hype-driven market that we saw last year is gone, okay? It's more performance-based. It's more safe. It's smarter. It's healthy. It's right. It feels right. You know what I mean? It feels right. And there will be a lot of junk slabs out there. Go browse my slabs. Put in, you know, when you filter or whatever, say cheapest. Go from cheapest to most expensive. And look at some of the cheap slabs on my slabs. And tell me if those cards belong in a slab or not. Lots of cards over there that just don't even have no reason to be in a slab, other than the fact that anything that got a PSA slab thrown on it last year tend to increase the value of it 10x, regardless of who or what it was. But, you know, holding the right cards, being smart, rarity always wins in the end. And you just need players that are pretty good, but they got to be marketable. They got to be popular. Blue Thunder says, Jaw's already a superstar. He can hit threes now. Yes, we just need to see more playoff success. That's all. He's a great player. That's nothing wrong with that. You can say that right now. C&T says, no dividends, no interest. Have to be nimble and make moves if you're looking to make money in the game. You have to be lucky. I'll tell you that right now. Myself, you ask me this question every day when I get up in the morning. If you ask me, would you rather be lucky or good? I'll say I'd rather be lucky. I would rather be lucky than good. And I've been rather lucky. I've probably been luckier than I have been good. Neo says, target guys that could be the guys in 5 years. You really believe Fanatics is going to market the hell out of cards and bring a lot of new blood? Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Guys that are, but we also don't know what the next crop of drafts are going to be throughout the next 5 years. So it's always hard to say, you know, I guess so. If we were saying, okay, by 2026, who do we think are going to be the faces of the NBA? There may be some guys that may be those faces that aren't even in the league yet. And then you got your guys like, where will Giannis be by then? How many titles will he have? Will Luka finally have one? Will the Grizzlies be deep playoff type, championship caliber type team? Or will Ja Morant still be like a Damon Lillard, where he just needs some help and is never going to get it? Lots of variables. Will Zion be back? Will he be, in shape? Will he be healthy? Big question marks around him. But yeah, man, where will the Celtics be? Where would Jason Tatum be? Where will Colin Sexton be, Neo? So I've noticed, this is one thing, and I know Neo is more of a Darius Garland type guy, at least from a player standpoint. He likes him better. Sexton is the flashy player, will put up the big nights, has the higher ceiling, but also has the most dangerous floor. I've noticed that I feel like Colin Sexton's minutes have been getting trimmed. And I don't believe it's because he's a bad player. I believe it's because Cleveland wants to see if they can move on from him. I just kind of see the writing on the wall that his rookie contract is going to be up. They're going to limit his minutes, give someone else some more playing time because they got a lot of young players on there. Ricky Rubio is getting a lot of play. And, I think they're trying to measure what their success level could be by limiting Colin Sexton's minutes if they were to move on from him. Because they could probably get more for him now than it's worth trying to pay to keep him. Roman loves his Cavs. Roman, who do you like? Let's get another Cavs opinion in here. Roman, you are a Cavs fan. I remember you telling me that when we were talking at the Raleigh show. Who is your young guy on there? Now, Jared Allen. I like Jared Allen. I liked him when he was on the Nets. I thought the Nets trading him was the biggest mistake that they made because the Nets have zero interior. And Jared Allen's a heck of an interior player. He's a good center. I know big guys don't get a lot of love, but he's exciting. He has character with the big hair. He can attract attention, not just on the court, but with popularity. He can score. He can defend. I like him. He's a big man, but I like him. Who else do you like on the Cavs? Who do you like in the Cavs backcourt? Do you like Colin Sexton there? Jesse's talking about Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson's the kind of guy that he's so really cheap that if you do like him, he went to UNC. The coaching staff really seems to like him, but there's a lot of shooters in Phoenix. He's coming off the bench. He needs minutes. He's efficient when he plays, but it seems like he doesn't take a lot of shots. So, not really sure what kind of bloated stat line someone like a Cam Johnson could put up, even though he could go on to be a good NBA player. But there's a big difference between being a good NBA player / role player as to being someone who really is a number 2 or number 3 on that team, because the number 1's going to always clearly be Devin Booker as long as he's there. Do I see base stuff with high pop continue to dip? For example, Luka Prism. And you're saying Sexton will be in Philly soon for Ben Simmons? That's a possibility. He could be in Philly. The Luka Prism is the one card that may not dip too much, just because it depends on how much the supply keeps going up, because there's always going to be big demand for Luka. The base cards that are really going to take the hit is on the players that don't do well, that don't pan out. A lot of them, the 2019 class, when everybody was being graded when they shouldn't have been. And, the players that flop and they just don't generate any kind of demand. And then you just have, 90% more supply than you do demand. Where Luka, because he's a good player and he's an international superstar, and can only get better and do more with his career. Yes, the pop reports are going to continue to rise on that card, but demand for his product or his cards will continue to be there. So I don't see them plummeting. But for other players who don't continue to generate demand, then yes, high pops are going to kill their cards. And it's going to mostly be like 2000, I don't know, probably like 2017 and newer. Because, to now. Because a lot of Prism, even base, prior to that, have low pops, weren't printed as much. And so, rookies like Jokic, Booker, those guys, Embiid, even Zach LaVine, who's a beast, and Chicago looks really good and dangerous. Those guys aren't going to have as much population out there. There was something else I wanted to mention, and it slipped my mind. Let's see. Oh, also, will there ever be a day when Prism's not king due to the fact that the base is massively printed, massively popped, and massively printed? I mean, everything kind of is now. We saw the ascension of Select, and then we saw Panini just absolutely kill it. That could have been a special product. We could have seen it pass Prism. Panini would rather make more money and make it go retail than to keep it special. So they killed that product from a value standpoint. To the point to where it's just, it looks like a bowl of Fruit Loops. You open the pack and it's like you vomited a pack of Fruit Loops into your hand. Just all shiny, different colors of whatever kinds of crap that they throw in those packs. Let's see what we got. Roman, here's his answer. He's a fan of Garland, Mobley. I feel like nobody in Cleveland likes Colin Sexton. The Hammer says he can't give away his Jared Allen cards on Star Stock. That's, he has to be the kind of guy that people have to he has to get people's attention. There's players out there that go out and average double-doubles, and nobody cares about their cards. Nikola Vucevic comes to mind. He was a 2010 machine in Orlando. Nobody cared. He was in Orlando. Now he's in Chicago. He's not the number one guy there, so his numbers are probably down. But Chicago is a big city and a big basketball market. Can he get some love there? I don't know. I mean, we're talking about Jared Allen not being able to get love on his cards, but as of right now, there's not a single Cleveland Cavalier that you can get love on any of their cards. And that's not me bashing Cleveland. That's just me saying I have some Garland stuff. I have some Sexton stuff. As of right now, nobody really wants it unless, chop your price in half or something. So, yeah, it's not like Jared Allen's going to all of a sudden bust up on the hobby scene and blow up, in prices. But he's a really good player. Being a really good player doesn't always translate to hobby value. The top pick in Houston is Jalen Green. Everybody on Houston besides Christian Wood is just kind of doing shit. Bad. Like Kevin Porter Jr. has been really bad. Jalen Green has been bad. I mean, I would say mediocre at best, not even. Christian Wood has been okay. The team's just bad. A bunch of inconsistent young shooters. I don't know if Kevin Porter Jr. has had a 20-point game this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Meanwhile, Tyler Hero is averaging 22 points a game this season, guys. Write that down. You know who else is averaging 22 points a game this season? Luka Doncic. Imagine that. Let's see here. Yeah, SCA is your man to ask about the Rockets. He is down there in Houston. Houston fan. Will Zion lose weight? I hope so. I mean, Zion's good for the league, and he's good for the hobby. All right? Whether you have his cards or don't have his cards, Zion coming into the league being such a big hyped prospect, it really helped out the card market last year. It really did. I mean, that draft, we're still talking about that draft, and we're 2 drafts after that now. So it's like, Still very buzzy. Lots of eyes on the product. I mean, Pelican games were getting on television for the simple fact that Zion was on the team. So he's good for the NBA. He's good for ratings. He's good for the card market. We just need him to get his shit together from a hobby standpoint, whether you own his cards or don't own his cards. If he can drive the market, it helps everyone. I mean, wouldn't you love to see the Pelicans and the Grizzlies 2 or 3 years from now playing each other in the Western Conference Finals? That sounds like good television to me. That sounds like money, right? Either way you look at it, money for the NBA, money for the hobby. You know, it just sounds like a game. It sounds like a series I would like to watch. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Anybody out there agree with me? Whether you're fans of those teams or those players, 2 or 3 years from now, who would like to see, being that the rosters are still together, a Pelicans Grizzlies Western Conference Finals? No. Dakota going in. Zion shoots better than Ja. There's Roman. Colin Sexton is a deal, but don't think he deserves, or a beast, but don't deserves a max deal. That's fair. He probably doesn't. Cleveland can probably use that kind of money more wisely. You tie that kind of money up in him, then you kind of handcuff yourself going forward, and the team needs a lot more than Colin Sexton. So yeah, I could see. I understand that. Bradley, what's going on, man? How you doing? Celtics losing again. Celtics are just, they need a third piece. They need a guard. Look how good New York is playing with Kemba Walker there. They got a veteran guard. They threw him straight into the lineup. They said, RJ Barrett, you're moving the small forward. Kemba Walker's going to run this team of talented young players, and they're winning. And, you know, when Kemba was in Boston, there was nights when the team needed him to score and he put up 20. And then there was nights where he scored 3 or 4 points. And he kind of knew his role, and that's kind of what he did. Celtics need that guy. They need that guard that is not going to be ball dominant, but is going to score when you need him to score. That's why I don't necessarily think Ben Simmons is a good fit for the Celtics. I thought about this, and I know he's a facilitator. He can pass. I know he can play defense. But when we need him to score, can he score? He couldn't do it in Philly, or at least he was scared to even try. So, but you bring in somebody like Colin Sexton, who's ball dominant. Now, all of a sudden, you got 3 guys shooting the hell out of the ball, and it's just not a good balance. So, Celtics. Celtics suck. Dolphins suck. Orioles suck. I need a reboot. I need a reboot on my teams. Brian says Zion needs to lay off the Twinkies, but Twinkies are good. Hobby Champs, what is going on? Did you know that Shaquille O'Neal only has one serial numbered NBA license card from his rookie season of 92-93? Was that maybe on somebody put up a video the other day of Shaq's what you call it? Top rookies, most valued rookies. I want to watch that video and check it out. I'm not sure which card that is that's serial numbered. If it's NBA license, it's not any of the classic stuff, because some of the classic stuff is serial numbered. Again, what is the serial number on that, though? Is it high? Is it low? Is it a parallel? Not really sure. I mean, the Beam Team card of his is just absolutely my favorite and probably always will be, regardless of value, because of the looks on that card. The Topps gold is valuable, but that card's just kind of blah. I actually think the gold stripe on it makes the card ugly. I like the base better. It's just not as valuable. The Upper Deck #1 draft pick card that's also valuable on a PSA 10. Also kind of a blah type card. Typical 1992 junk wax. I mean, it looks like 92 junk. It looks like 1990s junk wax. That's what it is. But in high grades has value. That Beam Team card, though, early 90s junk wax, you would never guess that Beam Team insert came out of those products, because that That insert set was ahead of its time. Hero is still Bradley 0, just still no love. Neo said the same thing the other night. I asked Neo, I said, look, guys, I had a bunch of Tyler Hero cards and I don't have many left. That's a good thing. I said, I've sold a majority of my Tyler Heroes, but I'm hanging on to a couple. I do have them listed on my slabs, and I just got 2 offers in to sell 2 more. Now, I'm in a situation where I've made good profit off Tyler Hero. Now, do I gamble and hold a few, or do I just keep on selling them? And Neo's response was, I'm not a hero guy. Neo, that's not what I asked. I know you're not a hero guy, but what would you do? I'm just busting him because he's not here to defend himself other than in comments. Let's see. "2018 Mike White cards are ending as soon as Jets." What's that say? Are ending as Jets won. I bought so many like Mike White cards so cheap. I am looking into 10x. I'd sell now though. AF Alam. I'd say now. Yeah, Roman Zion's changed the card game, and for a lot of people who want to hate on his lack of discipline with his weight and getting injured and things like that, people talk about his injury issues, and yeah, he had the broken foot and he had the knee, but last year when he was dominant, he really was never injured. He broke his finger at the end of the season, which is a common injury in basketball, and he could have played through it. They just had nothing to play for. So last season, before the foot injury coming in, people were even dogging Zion about injuries this, injury that. But last season, when he was so dominant, he played all year. And he is definitely good for the hype of the market and for sales and stuff like that. Guys, I'm way behind on comments, like 7 minutes. So hang tight. I'm working my way down. They turned select in the Chronicles. Michael Ham says, go hit the like button. Why not? It's easy to do. AF Alam says, Tyler Hero will not last. I hate to pull your card, AF Alam here, and I hate to be that guy, but here's what I'm going to say. LaVisca's showing out. LaVisca's showing out. And if any of you guys follow this channel, you know what I'm talking about. Big men, the NBA is a death sentence. Still don't get why it is, but it is. Houston's young. Give it a year. Patience on those guys, and it will pay off. I heard that last year. You would like to see the Mavericks in the finals instead. In the finals or the Western Conference finals? I mean, you got to go through the Western Conference to get to the finals. But I'm talking about in a couple years. You would like to see the Mavericks in a couple years, or you would like to see the Mavericks now, Bradley? And who would you like to see them against? AF says Sexton is too small. He's a guard, man. How big do you want him to be? Miami Mike says the hero hate only comes from people who don't own any. Neo, Luca's team is trash. He thinks that the Mavs, the Mavs. I was completely shocked when the Mavs made no moves, but if they were pushing for the playoffs, by midseason, trade deadline comes around, I wouldn't be surprised. And I said that this guy is a good fit for the Nets, but I wouldn't be surprised if they made a play for somebody like Pascal Siakam, because Siakam doesn't have to be the number one. And he's a great number two. He's even a better number three, but he's a great number two. And he's a good inside presence. He can score the ball inside. He's a pretty good shooter. He can play defense. So, someone like Pascal Siakam was to move to Dallas. I mean, that would be a nice piece for that team. It would definitely help. Hobby Champ says he's seen Pearl Jam like 5 times. I've only seen him once in concert, but it was like one of the top concerts of my life. It's so hard to rate the concerts that I've been to because I've seen Pink Floyd live, and there's nothing like that show. There's just nothing like the entire spectacle of a Pink Floyd show. But I saw Pearl Jam in Rome, Italy. So the complete surroundings of being outdoors at the soccer stadium in Italy and Rome with so many people, and they all spoke Italian. However, when Pearl Jam was singing, they all knew the words in English. It was just crazy. That feeling of being where I was at was like surreal. So that had its own vibe to it, different than the Pink Floyd concert. And then I've seen a lot of other bands that were just really good live. But those two are like probably my top 2. The first concert my wife ever went to, I took her to way back around 2000, 1999 maybe. We went and saw Aerosmith during the 9 Lives tour. Also, that was a good one, even though we were sitting way up. Didn't have great seats. But it was good because it was like her good first real concert, and she liked Aerosmith at the time. Let's see. Do we know the print runs of the Beam Team? We don't. I know that they were maybe 1 or 2 per box because I busted packs of that Stadium Club. I remember it was tough to pull a Beam Team out. I remember standing in the LCS as a kid because really I couldn't even afford it, the cards. And I remember busting tons and tons and tons of Stadium Club. And every time I would pull a Beam Team, it'd be like, oh my God, you got a Beam Team, regardless of who it was. I remember the first one I ever pulled was a Dominique Wilkins. And I was like, whoa, this card is cool looking. It was a Dominique Wilkins. I never pulled the Shaq out of a pack. In fact, I believe I only pulled 2 out of all of that Stadium Club I ever busted in. And it was a Dominique Wilkins and a Charles Barkley. No, the Tyler Heroes are thinning out. I only have a couple left. My beard is actually thicker than my Tyler Hero stash at the moment. The one I really want to hang on to, I'll see what I got left. Select Blue Prism, sold yesterday. Got to ship it tomorrow. Select Silver Premier Level, sold yesterday. I got to ship it tomorrow. So all I really have left is 4. I have a red Mosaic. Bought that in Dallas in May. I have the Prism Photo variation with the ball behind the back. I have a regular Concourse Silver left. And the one I really want to keep is this Disco Red Prism because it looks awesome. It's not only the red, but it's the Disco, so it's a hybrid parallel. And it's numbered out of 49, so it's really low serial number. So if I was to keep one of my heroes long term, I would just keep this red Disco Prism. When I bought this card, it was only $200, and I just sold this Silver Prism Premier Level for $260. So it's like, look at the difference in price now. I wouldn't be able to touch this Disco Prism for $200 now. So yeah, I like the AF Alam says sell on hype. And that is a great thought, a great statement. But at what point does something, does something stop being hype and become reality? When is something no longer hype, but for real? Okay. Let's talk about Justin Herbert. When did Justin Herbert become for real? Or is he still just hype? Let's talk about John Morant. When did he become for real? Or is he still just hype? Some of the younger players in the league that everybody's liking right now. Luka. When was Luka hype? And when did he become legit? At what point do you say someone is legit? What do they have to do? Is that a different criteria for everyone? Is it a different mindset for us as individuals? And when we accept someone as being legit, at what point is someone legit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years of success? I don't know. I guess it's going to be different for everybody. Everybody has their own opinion. But at what point does someone go from being hype to being legit? Okay, so yes, sell the hype. But what if you really have confidence in somebody and you think they're going to be legit? You know, there's probably people who have sold off lots and lots of stuff on hype. And some of that stuff, looking back, are probably like, yeah, I should have probably hung on to that one. Yeah, back in 1986, 87, when Michael Jordan was all hype and I sold all my Jordans for, $20 a piece, I probably should have held on to one or two of those. Or in 2003, when LeBron was coming in and I was selling my Topps Chromes. This is a true story. Not for me, for my younger brother. My younger brother busted tons and tons and tons of 2003 Topps Chrome basketball. I didn't even collect basketball cards back then, but he did. And he used to be like, Stevie, because that's what he calls him. He's my little brother. Stevie, this draft class is awesome. It's got Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, LeBron James. Buy these basketball packs. He would buy them at like the 7-Eleven in the grocery store and stuff. 2003 Topps Chrome, busting them. Selling to LeBrons, selling them raw on eBay for like $50. You buy a pack for a couple bucks, pull a LeBron and sell it on eBay for $50. That was like boom. That was like gravy. Looking back in hindsight, maybe shouldn't have sold all the hype. Maybe should have held on to a couple of those LeBron Topps Chromes. So you can always say, sell the hype. But at what point do you say, I'm going to hang on to a player because I believe there's some legitimacy. I believe he can be legit. Okay. No more hard words that I can't pronounce. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Bradley says multiple MVPs. Multiple MVPs. There's some, probably Hall of Famers that have never even won a single MVP. Only one person can win MVP per season. And if you're playing, look at championships. Michael Jordan won 6. You know how many people Michael Jordan prevented from winning championships because he was dominant in that era? Players like Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, great Hall of Fame players, never won titles because of Michael Jordan. So, but they were still great players and they still hold value. So multiple MVPs. I mean, think of some players right now that are great players that if they retired today might be Hall of Famers but never won any MVPs. I don't know. None just pop into my head, but just think about that. MVP is kind of a little bit, that's a big award. Do I think PSA opens things back up? Things will start to pick up. I think there's a lot of people waiting for PSA. I think PSA shutting down was quite a bit of I don't want to say a huge factor, but definitely played a factor in the slowing down of the hobby. But multiple things played a factor in the slowing down, just like multiple things were factors in the hobby exploding. It can't hurt, when PSA opens back up, it can't hurt. I don't think it'll hurt anything. In fact, yes, I do believe it'll be a little bit of a jump start, but still it's going to have to be a situation where people are still got to be smart. You just can't send everything to PSA. And how long, after they open back up to a basic bulk/economy service or whatever, how long before they fall behind again? Will that be something that happens? Because if so many people are sitting on cards right now, ready to flood PSA when the lower submission prices and levels return, how long will it take before that backlog is built back up? And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're shutting back down, or we're raising prices. Motley V8, Robert Ory has 7 rings. Rock says Kobe only won 1 MVP. Mahomes is looking very ordinary versus the Giants. I wouldn't be surprised if Mahomes is still a little concussed. Adam Griffith, Bill Russell. Yeah, I was talking about this today with somebody where Bill Russell has like the most championships, but people always say, well, the competition just wasn't there. But that wasn't his fault. But it is what it is. It was kind of in the days when nobody watched the NBA, even if it was on television. You know, the NBA really didn't get watched until the early 80s when Larry Bird and Magic Johnson came in. That's when NBA ratings, television and stuff shot up. Those guys are what really put the NBA on the map as far as being watched on television. There were 8 teams in the NBA back then. Yes, but you still had to win. You still had to win. Just think of the team that was like, man, we finished 8th this year. Not a bad season, guys. We finished 8th. You can say that these days and it's good. 8th gets you in the playoffs. Adventures with Troy, this is what I just touched on. He says, PSA will fall behind immediately. Everyone holding cards for PSA grading, including yourself. Not all cards will be worth $150 to get graded. If they open back up, and I still didn't watch the Nat Turner interview. I'm the type of person that I just wait for stuff to happen. You know, I guess Nat Turner did the interview on a podcast talking about his plans for PSA and things like that. And I know as a YouTube person, I should probably be more knowledgeable and talk about that kind of stuff, but I just don't. You know, I got other things going on in my everyday life where I'm just like not going to sit down and make it a point to watch a Nat or listen to a Nat Turner. You know, and I'm into the cards and all that, but you know what? Until something actually happens, it's just all talk, regardless of who or what or when, why, how is saying something. It's basically until you roll out these prices at these turnaround times and show me what's going on, it's all just talk. You know, it's all just rumors. And you know what? 2-3 weeks, a month from now, there'll probably be another update that'll say something completely different. That's why I don't talk about the Fanatic stuff that much, because a lot can happen in 5 years. I will cross that bridge in 5 years if I'm still on this earth. You know, it's like worry about living every day as opposed to what's going to happen with Fanatics 5 years from now. Oh, no, I'm sorry, PSA Slab Guy, and this is a question. I didn't even see your comment on this yet. So that wasn't me being sarcastic. Can I give my thoughts on that interview with Card Talk? And that's the thing. I don't really have any thoughts, and that's just being honest. I could sit here and try to make up an educated answer, and I would sound like a horse's ass because I would have no idea what I'm talking about because I didn't really pay attention to it. I've just heard through other people kind of what happened. And like Neo says, it was really good. I should really watch it. I would probably just rather watch somebody else's video breaking it down for me, Neo. Kareem scored more than anybody. I believe. Will LeBron break that scoring record, guys? He's on his way. He's getting closer. Just don't know. What's my favorite card in my box? Carver's card is a great question. Damn. Well, because these are not in the box, or do you mean just what's my favorite card that I have? Or in this box here? A lot of this stuff in this box here is mainly stuff that I take to shows that I want to sell. So a lot of this probably won't fall under my favorite. It's probably one of my rock and roll cards, to be honest. It might be my Soundgarden PSA 10. And they're all in another room. I don't have them in here tonight. Yeah, like this whole stack in my hand right now is listed on my slabs. Yeah, every single card. That one too. This whole stack is on my slabs right now. Going through here. I know it's not going to be, it's honestly, it's not going to be anything in this box. Because this is cards that I don't mind parting with. These are cards that I'll trade or sell. Hold up a second. There is a Larry Bird and a Michael Jordan rookie in here. Larry Bird, Michael Jordan. But again, I don't know if they're my favorites. Like they're in this thing. The Larry Bird, I would probably not move. That's an 8. That's graded an 8. I like that one. The Jordan, I would move at a show for the right price. And I would probably get invested into another Jordan if I did that. Maybe trade up or something. It's a nice Oscar Robertson rookie in here. 3.5, but it's very clean. But again, for the right price, I mean, that's kind of in my collection, but for the right price, if I could move that to a vintage dealer, I may. Don't know. Like me and Oscar Robertson, I just don't have any like memories of watching him play or anything. Most of my favorite cards, my PC stuff is things that, you know, like I said, I PC memories. So most of the cards that I have bring back some kind of memory or put me at a certain place in my life. And those are my favorites. They actually give me. Why is the BCCG case, the Jordan 86 Jordan, too expensive to reslab in the PSA? A couple things. I don't think PSA will crack Jordans, and I don't want to crack it myself. I'm not hell-bent on selling it. It's basically a PC card. I didn't buy it for much money. So it's not like I'm like, oh my God, I got to sell that Jordan. I spent a lot of money on it. I actually didn't give up much of anything for it. I've had it for a while. And it looks good. And the BCG case makes it authentic. I mean, if I graded it with PSA and had it crossed, it would, at worst case, it would probably be a 7. Maybe an 8. It wouldn't be a 9. I know that. Even though this BCCG says it's a 9, I know it's not a 9. I'm not trying to pretend that I got a Jordan 9. I'm like, hey, everybody, I got a Jordan 9. This says 9, but, you know, I understand how Jordans look, good ones and bad ones being graded. I've compared that to a lot at card shows. I've looked at a lot at shows. Worst case scenario, I put a 7 on it. 7.5 maybe. Maybe an 8 on a good day. Depends on if the grader, you know, got some in the morning before he came to work or something. But I'm just content with it in that case right now. If I needed money or something and needed to sell it, maybe I would sell it as is and let somebody else deal with it. Or I would crack it. But I don't want to crack it myself. I just don't. And I don't think PSA cracks Jordans. Like if you send them in to have them resubmitted, either for a second opinion or another grading company, I don't think that they do. I think that's one of the cards on their list that they won't mess with. All right, I got 4 packages here. We'll go ahead and open one because Roman says, what's in the packages? I don't know in any particular order what's in these. I know it came in the mail today, but I don't know what's in each individual one. I'm going to guess what's in this one is not a slab because it's the smallest one. And I think all the other one are slabs. So we'll open this. This is going to be a boring one for almost everybody here if it's what I think it is. But for me, it's an oddball outside the box item. Dirt cheap. I'm going to get them graded by SGC. Dirt cheap. And then I'm going to find somebody who wants to pay me a decent price for one of them because there will be someone out there that will. Whether it takes a week or a month to find a buyer. So I got 3 of these of the same card. Hopefully they look nice in person, in condition. Oh, this is a different card. This is actually a better card. Along the same lines, though, this is going to go to SGC. This is a, what's the year? 2004. This is a 2004 Tony Hawk, Don Russ, Skateboard Relic. So there's a piece of a wood chip from a skateboard on the card. And it says authentic competition used skateboard on the card. So I picked that up. I'll throw that in an SGC slab. Red always looks good in the black tux. I picked the card up pretty cheap. It'll be cheap to grade. And this will go into my personal collection with my Tony Hawk autographs and my Tony Hawk rookie. Speaking of Tony Hawk rookie, there's my Tony Hawk rookie. I'll put this Tony Hawk skateboard relic card in there with it in an SGC slab. And that's let's see. PSA Slab Guy says, what are my thoughts on the accuracy of BVG grading for crossover potential? I've seen some look pretty good and others are questionable. Again, yeah, it's and BVG, because before a certain year, they grade everything under BVG because it's Beckett vintage grading, and they grade it with a little bit of leniency. So when you're looking to cross those, you're going to basically evaluate the card on your own. I have my BVG 8 Larry Bird Magic Johnson. I've taken that to two people, my LCS and another shop that does group submissions to PSA. And I had them evaluate that card for me. And both of them were like, dude, this is a no-brainer. This is a PSA 8. You need to send this in. You might even get an 8.5 because it has no surface marks. It's a little bit off center. That's all that's wrong with that card. And the 80 tops cards, especially the Magic Johnson Larry Bird, is notorious for having a print line across the front. It's almost like a blackish type, almost looks like wax, but it's not wax. It's the actual print line that goes across the front of the card. And this one does not have that. I would rather have a BVG 8 without the print line than a PSA 8 with a print line. I had a buyer or a dealer at the last Philly show look at that, and he wanted to buy it off me. And when him and his friends were looking at it, they were like, well, it's a BVG. What do you think about it? And they were even looking at it and say, man, this thing is one of the cleanest ones we've ever seen. This will cross the PSA easily. Again, it's a card I would have crossed myself, but it's my Larry Bird. It's my Larry Bird Magic Johnson rookie. So yeah, I don't really want to sell it. Would I trade it straight up or trade maybe with a little bit of cash on top for a PSA 8 to save me the headache of cracking and resubmitting? Possibly. But again, it's like the Jordan. I don't even really know why they're in this box. They're just in there because, I take them to a show, people see them, they garner interest. What should you invest in with $75? Name one at about 30. 30 or less. I'm not really going to give me a sport. Give me a sport, because I don't really like to touch these kinds of questions. What's up, Bazooka Tom? How you doing? I met Tom at the National. I believe we got a picture. We might have got a picture, yeah. Likes for Flipping Steve and his band Pearl Jam. Even if you don't want to like me, like for Pearl Jam. If you don't like Pearl Jam, like for me. Just don't like twice, because then you'll cancel your like. Got a couple more packages here. I guess I can open the other one. I wasn't expecting the Tony Hawk to be the first one, but this is a card. They're not that expensive. I got this one right around the $50 mark. So $50 for this. I can send it to SGC for like 25 or 30 bucks. We just say 30, round up. I always like to round up to give myself breathing room. I'd be 80 bucks invested. And if it comes back like an 8 or better, it's probably a couple $100. And it'll look good in my collection. This is going to be the one that's not a slab. Bradley says under 30 bucks, buy Juan Soto raw rookie cards. But which ones? And I mean, like, they're, going to be a hard resell, and it's going to be a lot of money to try to get them graded if he wants to buy raw and get graded. And the Topps updates, man, they're just graded. They got a ton in the pop now. They're approaching like Luka levels, I think. I don't know, maybe halfway to Luca, but I wouldn't be surprised. This is 3 of the same card. I was talking about this guy earlier. I got to look at the condition on these, the grade. And this is John Brezink. 2013 Goodwin's champions, John Brezink. These were merely just a couple bucks a piece. So I bought 3 of them. I sent them to SGC again for like 30 bucks. So I'll be like $32 invested a piece. And if I get some decent grades, I'll probably be able to sell them for 75 to 125 bucks to somebody who likes John Brezink and likes the sport of arm wrestling. If you don't know who John Brezink is, he's like, Devin Lorette is becoming like the GOAT because he's super entertaining, but John Brezink is like the GOAT of arm wrestling. He was the guy who actually won the tournament from the movie Over the Top. If anybody here is old enough to remember the Sylvester Stallone Over the Top movie, he's the guy that won the truck. The truck that they had in that movie at that arm wrestling tournament in Vegas with all the truckers there, that was a real tournament. But they threw Sylvester Stallone in there to shoot the movie Over the Top. But there was a real tournament going on for that. And they actually had 2 of those trucks. One of the trucks was for the winner of the tournament. The other truck was for Sylvester Stallone himself. It was made for him to take home because he was the star of the movie. He was just going to take it home and I guess put it in his garage or whatever celebrities do with shit like that. But John Brezink wasn't even a trucker. He wasn't even a trucker, but he entered the tournament and there was a cash prize or the truck. But the truck was worth like 3 times what the cash prize was. So he took the truck. And then he did with the truck, like he like leased it to his father-in-law or something who was like an actual trucker. But he was the guy who won that actual tournament there. And he's also a big time World Arm Wrestling League like champion. Now he's in his 50s, I believe now. He's coming to the end of his career, but he's about to have a big match with Devin Lorette. It's all over. Like if you follow it on YouTube, it's starting to get a little bit popular, to be honest. Not to the masses, but they're putting a lot of arm wrestling on like ESPN and on like YouTube videos and stuff because Devin Lorette's entertaining. And whether it's arm wrestling or not, it's entertainment. But again, you know, I like to gamble on this little stuff. It's cool. It's got a cool story behind himself with the Over the Top movie. He's also a beast in the arm wrestling. It's $2. So it's like, okay, if nobody ever cares, I spent $6 and I like it. Oh, $6 on something that I like, whether or not anybody else ever likes it or not. A PMG Michael Phelps. I did not see that, Tal. Yeah, Stallone would turn his hat around backwards. And again, like let's see. Motley V8 says buying arm wrestling cards might mean you become a sports card degenerate. I'm not sure. I'm not buying all arm wrestling cards. Okay. And here's the thing. I'm going to turn back the clock maybe a year to a year and a half. And I once said to everyone, I said, I'm buying tennis cards, but I'm just buying the GOATs. I'm buying some Roger Federer stuff. I'm buying some Rafael Nadal stuff. I bought some Pete Sampras stuff. I said, I'm just buying the GOATs though. So don't go out and buy tennis cards and buy everybody. I said, but buying tennis cards, if you're just going to buy the top guys, can be beneficial maybe in the future. Every single Rafi Nadal card that I bought for $50 and less, already graded, I sold for over $700 a piece. Done and gone. I don't have a single one left. I do have a Pete Sampras PSA 10 left. I paid $30 for this. I saw one go on My Slabs the other day for $600. So, you know, people said you're buying tennis cards. Oh my God, you're really reaching. That's okay. I did okay. I made out all right. Then I bought some golf carts. I got some boxes of 2001 Upper Deck. Golf, dirt cheap. You guys remember when I was busting out on the channel and giving it away? I got it for nothing. Literally nothing. I bought a 2001 Upper Deck game used jersey or game used polo swatch card, already graded in a PSA 10 of Tiger Woods for $200. I bought a PSA 8 Don Russ 1981 of Jack Nicklaus for $20 off ComC. And everybody's like, oh my God, you're buying golf. What a reach. What a reach. Golf is boring. That $200 Tiger Woods I sold for $1,500. That $20 Jack Nicklaus I sold for $250. So I did all right. I did all right on that. I did all right. Don't worry about me. I did all right. Last year in October of 2020, I started buying some Marvel stuff. I said, man, I'm going to buy some Marvel PMGs. I just posted this on Instagram. I bought Carnage. Movie wasn't out yet or nothing. I bought Carnage precious metal gems for $9. $9 a piece. Those are raw now, $225. Graded, pushing over $1,000. So, did well there. I bought Tony Hawk skateboard cards. Oh my God, why are you buying skateboard cards, Tony Hawk? Because it's only $75 and it's already graded. Go try to find that card for anywhere close to $75 now in a PSA 8 or higher. Mine's an 8.5. So it's kind of like the oddball stuff. I like it because it's been good to me and I like it. And if I get stuck with it, I also don't mind. John Brezink for $2. Doesn't mean I'm a sports card degenerate. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm either a sports card degenerate or a sports card genius. I would like to think neither. Maybe I would just to think that I'm lucky, like I said earlier. Because it's better to be lucky than it is to be good. And I've been really lucky. And I'll try my luck on these arm wrestling cards. Because it's just one person, John Brezink. I'm not buying every arm wrestler that's ever been, because that wouldn't make any sense at all. What's up, Theodore? How you doing, man? I remember when it didn't make sense to buy soccer. Do you guys remember how much soccer stuff I was buying? Like crazy stuff. It was like nothing. It was dirt cheap. Doug says, yeah, Chris says there's a fine line between degeneracy and genius, right? I'm one or the other. I don't know. I'm not classified. I'm just having fun with that. I'm a good sport, man. Good sport. Doug says graded sports card or graded sports illustrateds. Thoughts? It's going to depend on the cover. I kind of look at it and, a lot of people, when it comes to popularly graded or popularly collected magazines, Playboy is one of them. Okay. Playboy is one of them just because it's, like an iconic magazine. Hugh Hefner, everybody knows what it is. Like the first of its kind. But it had to be like someone's first cover or someone really legit, like a Marilyn Monroe on the cover. With Sports Illustrated, it's kind of going to be the same way. And I believe they were probably way more massively produced. In high grades, they could be collectible. But could they be any more collectible than Beckett magazines? I'm not really sure. There's never really been a market for Beckett magazines. And at one time, Beckett was, was the Bible of the sports card world. So, Sports Illustrated, graded Sports Illustrateds, I think would fall more into the category of magazines / book collectors than it necessarily would into the card collector market. Or maybe it would fit more into the memorabilia market as opposed to the card market. And to be honest, I can't speak a lot on the memorabilia market because I don't do a lot with it. I just do basically pack pulled autos. And that's more in the card market. Let's see. Oh my God, so many comments, guys. Dan, I'm trying to get to one of your comments, and you've had a lot. I don't know which one you want me to answer. She'll be holding sealed wax from Panini and Topps because they are losing their license in a few years. I wouldn't make that the reason why. I mean, you should just hold sealed wax if you believe in the rookie class and you believe in the value and you think it can go up, as opposed to, it's probably going to be expensive. So can your end game outweigh your buy-in price? I don't think it really matters as to what happens with the license, because Upper Deck lost the license to basketball, and Upper Deck Exquisite and some of their products are some of the still the most valuable, highest price stuff on the market. So maybe from that aspect, you could say yes, but then again, you know, I don't really think it's going to matter. People are just going to want the cards that they want. They you know, they already hold good value. Oh, we got somebody in here. Brock, what's up? Brock says the Giant Killer, the baddest arm wrestler of all time. His documentary, Pulling John, was the shit. I have to watch the entire documentary. What do you think about... Uh-oh. They're coming to get me. What do you think about John Brzenk versus Devin Larratt coming up there, Brock, since you know a little bit about arm wrestling? Are you a Devin Larratt fan? I just think he's entertaining. Molly says his Playboys have surface issues. They wouldn't grade well. The pages aren't sticking together. Feel like Scott Steiner's about to walk in, and it's like his music. Adam holds Bowman. Chrome. Bowman's a good product to hold because baseball can sometimes take a while for a player to really pan out. And, you know, the Bowman has the, you know, puts their cards out while the players are still in the minors. Guys, I haven't touched the Monday night game. What's it looking like? Look, they had their abilities taken away. Man, Chris, it must be rough the way that Chris is putting it on him. I don't know. I haven't seen any of that tonight. Joel with the big Papa Pump reference with the sirens in the background. Yeah, I thought he was about to be like, holla if you hear me, and roll up in here at the Steiner recliner, the dog-faced gremlin with his brother. Let's go ahead and open up another pack. We got the Tony Hawk so far. This is stuff that's up Merle World's alley. Got the Tony Hawk. That's a nice Tony Hawk, Merle, if you haven't seen that one or have that one. If you can find it, okay, so you can find them with wood chips like this one, but if you're lucky, you can find one that's a piece of the grip tape, the top of the board, and you can actually feel the sandpapery feeling of the grip tape. I would really like to get a grip tape one. You know, I guess it's kind of like getting a multicolor patch as opposed to getting just a napkin. So the Tony Hawk, the 3 John Brzenks, got to look at these later to see if they go into my SGC submission. Of course, the Tony Hawk's definitely going in. I don't care if it grades a 5 or a 6. We got one of these is a basketball card, and the other one is another sport, if you want to call it a sport. This one's the basketball card. I can tell by the way it feels because this is a PSA slab, and the other one is a BGS slab. So what should I open first, guys? You want the basketball card or the other card, the mystery card? One of them came from my slabs, and one of them came from eBay. You guys let me know. I'll see what I get in the comments, and I'll decide which one I want to open first. The man with the largest arms in the world. Tony Hawk's first card in the pack might be the X Games set that came out in 2000s, early 2000s, and the picture actually has him pulling air off of a ramp, I believe. It's not, Bradley, it's not Hero. It's a little bit close, but it's not Hero. That's one thing I'm not doing. I'm not buying Tyler Hero because it's tough to buy a player, even if you like them, once their price gets inflated. Because I remember when I was buying them at, 30 to 40% of what they're selling at now. So now it's hard for me. Like I said, I've sold more Tyler Heroes than I've held. So it wouldn't make sense for me to keep buying them. And I know that's just a rib. You're just joking with me, but. So the basketball card, I hope I guessed right. This actually feels thicker than a PSA slab now. This is going to be the PSA card, I think. This came priority, so I think this is going to be the PSA card. So this is the basketball card. And I impulse bought this The team's doing well. The player's popular, but he is a big man. So the price point was really good, though. I will say that. If it was anything over a certain price, I would have been like, oh, heck no. I'm not buying that. But the price point was right. Oh, we got legit shipping. The price point was right. It was a neat card. So even if I can't move it on player production, there are people who do collect this player. So, you know, you got to have fail safes. You got to be like, hey, if the player doesn't go up in value, do you think you can at least find a collector to move it to? It's one of the things I look at. This is a 2017, and I'm not a super big fan of die cuts, but these cards look really nice. It's a 2017 Bam Adebayo Select red die cut numbered out of 135. So I liked it because it was numbered out of 135 and because it's a color match. And because the Heat really look legit. They really look legit. This has nothing to do with Tyler Hero. The Heat just look legit. Jimmy Butler's playing great. Bam was averaging like 14 rebounds per game and also playing really well, close to 20 points. So, you know, if they make a playoff push or whatever, he's a popular player in Miami. Just checks a lot of boxes. And the price point was the key. Got it really cheap. I'm not going to say how much I bought it for. But let's just say I got a really good deal on it. And I thought it was cool looking. Aesthetically appealing. Usually aesthetically appealing cards are easy to move. So, yeah, I figured Miami Mike might like that one a little bit. Not a bad card, huh? Especially if you're down there in Miami. Somebody would like that. And these aren't easy to grade. These die cuts are not easy to grade at all. So the pop will remain low. Even though it's out of 135, the pop will still remain decently low. For the price, I just don't like to disclose my prices normally unless I buy something for $5 or less. Just for the price, let's just trust me on this one. It was just, I really can't lose that much. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, that's the biggest thing about Bam. There are a couple big guys that do get a little bit of love because they facilitate the offense for their team. You know, like Embiid, like Jokic and stuff. Bam's really athletic. He's not just a typical big man. He is really athletic. That is a plus, and he can shoot. But he is a big man. You know, make no mistake. Hopefully, he can break that mold a little bit. I don't think he'll ever be like a 25 point per game type guy. He's more like a 19 points per game. But that's what kind of team the Heat are. They distribute the ball evenly. Except Tyler Hero, he's a ball hog. He just takes a lot of shots. He does take a lot of shots. Dan is like cut, start, bench. Baker, Herbert, Josh Allen. Cut Baker. You can't go. I mean, it doesn't matter what I say for the next two. I mean, I could say start Herbert or start Allen. Neither one will be wrong. Just because he's been there and he's been in an AFC championship game, so he has that experience under his belt, I'm going to have to bench Herbert and start Josh Allen. Josh Allen's one game last year from being in his first Super Bowl. So this year when he goes, he has that playoff experience under his belt. And you got to go with the experience, even though Justin Herbert's super talented. Last package we got, guys. I don't even know how many likes I'm at. At least try to get me to 50. I can't tell what I'm at. Oh, I hate when they give me a slab and they don't put a team bag on it. It's like you could scratch the surface of this up. But anyway, this is a 1994. So this is like right around his rookie year. Tracks. Okay, Tracks. So the brand of the card is Tracks. So you already know what kind of sport it's going to be. And this is a Tracks pack pulled autograph. Tracks autograph series. Jeff Gordon, BGS 9.5, Auto 10. This is a True Gem Plus with 10 on centering. So 10, 9.5, 9.5, 9.5. Auto 10. Jeff Gordon, one of the top 5 NASCAR drivers of all time. Him and Earnhardt kind of made racing, like in the 90s and the 2000s. Well, Earnhardt passed away in like 2000. Gordon kind of picked up the flag, the torch, and went on with it. So, again, I'll put this one away with my NASCAR stuff. One thing I believe in, guys, is cycles. I believe in cycles, and they're not bicycles, not popsicles, the cycles. You never know how long it's going to take something to cycle back around, but eventually everything makes its way back around. It's one big circle, one big cycle. The sports card market. That's an example in the early 90s and now. Bell bottoms. Bell bottoms were popular back in the hippie days, or that'd be the 60s, 70s, whenever. Then nobody wanted bell bottoms. And then what happened, like in the mid 2000s and stuff, everybody wants to start wearing bell bottoms again. Not me, but never wore them, never have. Wouldn't look right. But the young, trendy crowd, they started wearing bell bottoms. Vintage clothing. Clothing that people say is vintage and makes me feel old because people buy t-shirts from the 1990s and say, check out my new vintage t-shirt. And I'm like, what? I still got that t-shirt from when I was in school. I still wear it. Makes me feel old. Vintage clothing makes its way back around. Music types. They cycle back around. It's popular. Something's not popular 10 years from now. It's popular again. In the early 2000s, NASCAR was the most popular sport in the United States. Now, it's very slow. Not quite dead. It's very slow. The cards are cheap to buy. Easy to buy. Not very expensive. For really good cards. I bought it, like I said, I bought a Dale Earnhardt autograph. Let me see if that's in here. You guys would have seen this if you've been watching or if you've seen my videos. But I'll show it again because I like the card, and you know what? I want to look at it. I want to look at it because I like it. My Dale Earnhardt on-card auto pack pull. He's the GOAT of NASCAR pretty much. Maybe not with all of his stats, because there's other guys who have won 6 titles. Richard Petty's won more races. Same amount of titles. But as far as marketing and the complete package, popularity, eyes on the product, transcending the sport, he's the GOAT. This card was $300. Like I've said before, this card is cheaper than a Hailie Deegan Prism. This card is cheaper than a Hailie Deegan. Just put that into perspective. If you're like me, you know who Dale Earnhardt is. That's a hard pill for me to swallow. Hailie Deegan Prisms are worth more than a Dale Earnhardt on-card auto graded. At least they sell for more, because I bought this for $300. That's just the type of stuff that I look for when I say it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And whether it takes a month, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years for the market to correct itself and for the cycle to complete, this will be a card that I want to hold when that happens. Because if this was Willie Mays or Michael Jordan or Tom Brady or Lewis Hamilton, this card would be worth 10 times what I paid for it. So that's just the way that I think again sometimes. Maybe I'm a degenerate. Maybe I'm a genius. I don't want to be either. Just having fun. Crossing my fingers. I like the cards. I like the value. I like the potential. I like all of it. So I'll buy up this stuff right now that nobody else wants. In fact, I hope it stays that way for a while. It'll allow me to buy it really cheap. And now in my NASCAR cards, I have the Earnhardt, the Jeff Gordon, and the Richard Petty swatch auto, numbered out of 15. So set it and forget it. Like the rotisserie, Ron Popeil rotisserie barbecue. Set it and forget it. Just put it away. Forget about them. Get them out and look at them for my enjoyment every now and then. And who knows what happens someday. The Chiefs are a disaster. I am not even having to watch this game, and you guys are letting me know how bad. TW, Steve, what do I like best? Kabooms, Downtowns, or Color Blast? Ranked my favorite, please. Let's see. If the Color Blast is black, I like it. I think the black Color Blast look good. The white Color Blast look okay, but it's a card with color behind it. It's kind of a photoshopped picture thrown on with a design. I'm much more of a person. I like action shots. I'm just old school. Downtowns, not a super huge fan because I don't like the fact that they use a cartoon of the player on there. I think it's a super neat concept with the downtown and the hometown view and all that. That stuff's really neat. It looks like a picture or even a comic book. But because of that, the player on there is like a drawing of the player. It's like a cartoon. It's not even a photo of the actual player unless they take the photo and animate it. But either way, it doesn't look like the actual player. You could throw anybody on that card that looks like they're in that team uniform. You know, it doesn't show their face or anything, and it's just going to look like that player on that card. Kabooms, I like the gold kabooms. Again, I know they're more rare, but it's not because they're more rare, more valuable. The gold just adds a little bit extra to them. My favorite, to be honest, is not on this list. I like the On the Horizons. And they were from the Panini packs. You know, I guess you could redeem your Panini points and get packs of the On the Horizons because they're kind of a combination of Kaboom with Downtown. I'll show you what I mean. So here's a Christian Pulisic On the Horizon. So it has that gold flash like a Kaboom would kind of have. It also has that background of all the, you know, iconic United States symbols. You got Mount Rushmore, the Lincoln Memorial, Statue of Liberty, the Liberty Bell. You know, like a downtown would have of a city. Actually, because Pulisic from the United States, though, it has the stuff from the country. But the photo of Pulisic is an action photo. It's an actual photo of him. It's not a cartoon. So it's got the best thing, in my opinion, from the Kabooms, you know, with that shine. It's got the best thing from the downtown, which is all the iconic pictures of the city or the country. And then it's got the best thing from the Color Blast. It's got the action shot. So I think I like the On the Horizons. I think it takes the best of all three of the cards that you just asked about and combines them into one card. Now, it's all completely opinionated. There's no facts behind that, other than it is factual that it's shiny, action shot, United States landmarks. That's all facts. But I mean, the way that I view it is opinion, you know, the best of each card in one. And rare and tough grades, just like the others. And I think they're good value because lots of people don't know about them because they come from see. Oh, Hobby Champ's talking about the die-cast cards. Yeah, my dad was into that a lot. Josh says, I need to add a nice Jimmy Johnson. That's true, Josh. The thing about Jimmy Johnson is he's still signing a lot of stuff. Like if you type in Jimmy Johnson auto, and I know Jimmy Johnson's got 6 titles. He is a top 5 guy. He will be. And he's even racing on like the Indy circuit right now, every now and then. I live near Dover Downs. Jimmy Johnson, in his prime, used to win Dover Downs like every freaking race. There's a helicopter outside now. So we had police cars. We got a helicopter. Cops filmed live on location about to bust in my front door. But I have been looking at Jimmy Johnson's. I just haven't pulled the trigger on one. Like, I'm not going out and buying tons and tons of NASCAR. I buy one here and there. So I picked up the Earnhardt about a month ago. I picked up that Jeff Gordon last week. The Petty I picked up a couple weeks ago. I'll look at another one if I find a good deal. And I'll grab a Jimmy Johnson, just like Troy says here also. I'll grab a Jimmy Johnson. I've actually had 3 different Jimmy Johnson cards on my watch list, and one of them actually got bought. So there's other people buying the stuff other than me. One of them got bought off my watch list. Another one was the exact same card, but it was in a lower grade. And then there was a booklet, a National Treasures booklet of Jimmy Johnson, but it had another racer on it. So I don't know if I want to buy the dual booklet or if I just want to get a Jimmy Johnson by himself. The goat of infomercials, Billy Mays. Was he the goat of infomercials, Billy Mays? I don't know. What about the slap chop guy? We'll buy your Mahomes at 70% eBay. Towels in here trying to make plays. Yeah. Oh no. Don't wish that on me, guys. Yeah, hobby champs. It just blows my mind how cheap Earnhardt Senior autos can be, because he's not signing stuff, and he passed away before the day of the autographed card in packs. It's very hard to find pack pulled autos of his. They're mainly out of the scoreboard and early '90s products before the major companies were making NASCAR cards. There is a upper deck sign of the times of his from like 2000. I believe that card really goes really high. The last one I saw sell raw on eBay, I've only ever seen one on eBay. And this was before I was really pushing hard. I didn't know much about NASCAR, but I was intrigued. And it sold for $800. And at the time I was like, man, that was kind of expensive. I don't want to pay that much for it. But now I'm realizing that was probably really a good deal because I've never seen that card again. And I'm like, that's probably was a really good auto of his to get. It was an upper deck sign of the times, so that's going to be better than his scoreboard type products. It's a desired product, a popular product. Really good card, nice photo shot of him without his hat on or anything. His hair was like combed nice, and it was like a 2000 product or 2001, which means that's like the last chance he had to sign anything before his passing away. It was probably like the last product he touched. That upper deck's probably the last thing he was ever in. Oh, too bad I banned the buy Mahomes guy. Yeah, I was talking about this the other day because I think I hate banning people. I absolutely hate it. I only ban people when they start to personally attack either others in my chat or myself. And even myself, I let a couple go. You get a couple freebies because I got thick skin. I work in a casino. There's not a lot of people can tell me that I've never been told. I deal with drunks losing their money on a daily basis. So it's like, there's not a lot you can tell me that I haven't already been called or told or anything like that, already. But when it becomes ridiculous, repetitive, and old, I just ban. And it kind of happened the case with this guy. He'd been banned on multiple channels, but there was times when there was good discussion with this guy. And I remember his name and everything because I felt bad that they had to do it because he watched the channel for a long time, but it just got ridiculous. But commented on another channel about how he sold his Mahomes cards prior to the season. And I just left it alone. I was going to be like, wait a minute. I'm seeing him comment on somebody's other YouTube videos about how, I was able to I sold all my Mahomes and made all this money before the season. He was buying. He's telling everybody to buy. Either he was trying to pump and dump, which he was trying to accuse me of doing. So he was either doing it himself and guilty of it. So he was accusing me of doing it. Or is lying altogether. I saw SCI pick up some autographed cards the other day. I didn't watch his video on the tickets. Adam, I do not do much of anything on Twitter. I'm kind of an old man when it comes to Twitter. I got a Twitter account. I went on there and I messed with it some, and I just kind of felt like, man, I don't really know how to navigate this very well. I always had missed tweets. I always had missed messages. I always had missed messages from like Trigger Finger and stuff, and I used to feel bad because Twitter is something I would only check like once every 2 weeks or so. And I would pull it up and I'd be like, oh man, I got a message from Trigger Finger and it's like a week old. And I would be like, man, I hope he doesn't think that I'm ignoring him. I just don't mess with Twitter. I just honestly don't. I'm mostly on Instagram. So I don't sell on Twitter. And I very, very rarely sell on Instagram. I post cards, photos of my cards just to show people what I have. But I never, not until recently did I actually say, hey, this card is for sale. Direct message me. And the day that I did that, I actually sold a card. I sold that soccer card I was telling you about earlier. Yes, Kill Switch, Walter Payton autos. That is one that I'm looking up, but they are pricey because they're limited. You know, they're limited. Died too early, so he just didn't get many signatures out there. JJ Bamo, how are you doing? How are you doing? What's up, man? Adam, thank you for the super chat, man. It is appreciated. You didn't have to do it, but I appreciate it. Thank you for that, man. Awesome. We are coming up. We're an hour, 50 minutes in. I usually go to 2 hours, so we're winding down to 10 minutes here. I think I opened all of my packages. I did. I had 4 items. I had the John Brzezinks, the Tony Hawk, the Bam Adebayo, and the Jeff Gordon. The Jeff Gordon will go into my autographed GOAT stack back there. I got a 3rd stack back there. The John Brzezinks and the Tony Hawk will go into my evaluate to grade stack, and the Bam Adebayo will go right here into my take this to a card show and see if somebody wants to trade it or buy it off you stack. Yeah, Reggie White's another one. Merle says, how about Super Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong, and Nintendo cards? I have 2 cards right now ready to go to SGC. Definitely one of them is going to SGC, and it's a Nintendo card. You don't see many of them. I'm not even sure how to list it. I'll be right back. I'll go grab it. I've showed it before, but you guys may have forgotten about it. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab it. All right, I'm back, guys. And this right here is a big old box of raw cards. And this is not just raw like dollar cards. This is like nice raw cards that I'm just waiting to get graded. 2 rows of it are full, and the middle row has got stuff like sitting on its side. Take the lid off. So this is raw cards. Like high end, like a lot of it's high end. Some of it's like out of the box type stuff. I'll give you an example of some of the stuff I have sleeved up that I want to get graded. Some of it's already in card savers, ready to go. There's a lot of soccer stuff. You guys don't want to see that. Old soccer stickers like Zidane first World Cup stickers, a Messi first World Cup stickers, R9 first World Cup stickers, like good condition. Look at this. Another Snoop Dogg and another Nirvana. Some Marvel stuff. Some Marvel Power Blast inserts would look awesome. Got a whole bunch of those. Magneto. Got some Pedri soccer stuff. Pedri's rookies. They're doing work outside. I'm going to have to find out after this what's been going on out there. Now we get into the better stuff. Marvel PMG, Carnage. Andre the Giant, 1981 Nakamura board game card. I have like 3 of these. Kelly Slater, Sports Illustrated. Here's the Nintendo card. Little Mac lenticular card from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. So he has 3 different poses. And on the back, it tells you how to beat all of the boxers that have special, moves and stuff. So that one's going to go to SGC just because that's a cool little card. You don't see them every day. It's in good condition. Look at it. Brock Lesnar rookie, but this isn't the base. This is actually the event-worn Relic. Black trunks, I guess. So we got sweaty. Oh, okay, event-worn shirt. All right, so it's just it's a black T-shirt. But that's the Brock Lesnar rookie with the. You see them all the time in just the base, but this is the one with the swatch on it. Stan Lee, Smiling Stan, Garbage Pail Kid, Kamikaze Con exclusive. Another Andre the Giant. Carnage PMG Blue. 2 more Mo Salah soccer. Serbian issue rookie 2013. True rookie card of Mo Salah. Only issued in Serbia. Very hard to find. I bought these when these were $20 raw about a year ago. The last raw one of these sold on eBay for over 150 bucks. I also have it graded in a BGS 9 already. Hottest player in soccer right now. Oh, a third Carnage Precious Metal Gem. A Venom Precious Metal Gem. Carnage Jambalaya. Little Mac Nintendo first sticker. Got this stuff out because Merle asked about it. Zico 1978 World Cup first sticker. If you know soccer, you know who that is. Anyway, it goes on and on and on. Some WNBA stuff, some more out-of-the-box stuff, some higher-end players. Some more Tyler Hero. Ronaldo World Cup sticker, first one. But yeah, just waiting for the grading companies. The 2 that I opened last week, James Hetfield and Metallica. Oh, man. Got a George St. Pierre auto from like 2009, Don Russ, Americana. I'm going to take much more of your time showing you that stuff. But I got to get this stuff sent in, especially like these PMG, Marvels, these Andre the Giants. I got to get in. His stuff's popular. Just got to get it graded, man. There's only so many hours in a day. When you got a family and a full-time job, there's even less hours in a day. And then you get off work on your Friday and you sit in front of a computer for 2 hours and talk about your card. But yeah, I got to get some of that stuff in, especially those PMGs. With as hot as those PMGs are, and like those Carnages I was showing you guys, I literally paid $9 raw for those. I can still show you my eBay sales listings from that. Jared's talking about the music cards. What's up, man? Yeah, Jared, I don't know if you've seen my music card collection. I got another one coming in the mail, but I have a ton of music card collections. I've been tearing them up. I think they're going to be popular. Yeah, Merle, that one of those Carnage PMGs was $9. This right here, the Black Widow is the only PMG that I've submitted so far. When I bought this Black Widow raw, it was $35. I checked my eBay history. It was $35. Like, this is a 2015, and she didn't have a 2013, so this is her first one. And this is the red out of 100. It's not even the bronze. So it's like, couldn't even sniff it for $35 now. It's probably $350 raw at on a good day. And they don't grade well. An 8 is actually a good grade. What's up, Who Dat? You just saw my Black Widow. Did you see my Carnages and my Venoms? Who Dat does comic books and cards as well, guys. Runs a comic book auction. If you're into comic books, I need to actually organize these. And the other thing is that when I was buying these precious metal gems a year ago, dirt cheap, I passed on a ton of them. I mean, I could have had so many more. I could have bought every single one of them off ComC, but I didn't want to overdo it. I'm already so backed up on raw cards that, you know, I'm overwhelmed. But as far as Marvel goes, and I got 2 binders of Marvel stuff upstairs too. I got a bronze Venom and 2 bronze Carnage PMGs. The blue Carnage PMG. And the best looking one is this Jambalaya. I've kind of been torn between waiting for PSA or actually sending the blue Carnage to PSA at $150 or going with SGC. Worst case scenario is I go with SGC for $30 and at least I get like a raw grade review. And if I think I get more value out of it by cracking it, then I will. Where is my Walt Disney card? That is a good question. That's going to be put somewhere. Let's see. Maybe in here. It's going to be put in a box that I don't take with me. Because this card I don't take to shows. I don't want to trade it or sell it. There it is. 1931, first Walt Disney card with Mickey Mouse. It's actually his first card, period. It just happened to have Mickey Mouse on it, too. There's cards in there I don't ever take to shows or anywhere. They just stay in a box. The last really old card I bought, you guys saw last week, 1900 Ogden Cigarettes, Thomas Edison, inventor card. Just super neat and super cheap. So I was like, that's kind of neat for the price. And it's 1900 old. Do I still have the sad sack Jerry West from your son? I do have the Jerry West. I had it here because I still had the packs that you gave me, Simdius, the one that I chewed like the 40-year-old gum out of. You give me a I thought it was Bob Cousy, or was it John Havlicek? It was one of the Celtics. Yeah, Dave, that's his so it's a 2013 Okay, it's called, I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's called Simolakija Top 32, and it's issued in Serbia. He does have a 2013 Panini Champions League card, I believe. So they're both from 2013 of the same year, but people say that this one was actually printed first, even though they're from the same year. That this was his actually first issued thing because it came from Serbia. Now, it doesn't really matter. 2013, a rookie is a rookie, but that's his true rookie. This one or the other one. This one's harder to find, though. You find the Paninis like all day long, not necessarily in high grades, but you find them raw and in, grades 6, 7, and 8 all day long, even 9s. You don't find these even raw very much. Like I said, the last raw one of these I saw sell for like 150 at auction, and this was just like 2 or 3 days ago. Luckily for me, I bought 2 of these raw for $20 a piece about a year ago, and I bought this for $100 at the same time about a year ago. Bought this for $100 and the 2 raws for like 20 a piece. Needless to say, I probably do really well on this if I sold it right now. I'd probably get $1,000 for this if I wanted to sell it. I've not seen the 55 Disney candy cigarette cards. I've seen a 1935 Walt Disney card, which is kind of black and white a little bit also. Looks like an old photo. That's nice. Yeah, I've heard about the Fortnite cards. I just don't even play the game, so I'm super not familiar enough with it. I would have to, I believe anything can have some value if it's aesthetically appealing and has some rarity and has some demand and has following. And I know Fortnite has all that. I've seen some of the cards. They look cool. They look cool as hell, but I have no idea who is who. Like, it'll say who is on there, and I'd be like, well, is that any good? Is that a popular character? This, that, and the other. I've never played the game before. And I don't even have any kids that would have played it. So I don't have like any familiarity with it other than I know the word Fortnite. But I'm out of touch with that. Lots of people love it. All right, guys, we're at 2 hours and 8 minutes. I'm going to get ready to wrap up. Any last comments, questions that you want to put? I'll give you a couple minutes to put them in there, and I'm going to go ahead and call it an evening. I'm going to eat some late dinner since I came straight home from work and I was running a little bit late. I came straight home from work and got on the live stream. Got to organize some cards. I got some cards in the mail. I hate when my cards are out of order. I get OCD with that. And I'll be putting out a video showing some autograph cards that I'm buying and telling why I'm buying them. The last thing I did was more of an educational thing on the types of autographs and stuff that you might want to look for if that's something you want to get into. But I'm going to talk about legends of their respective sports, kind of like what I did tonight, that are cheap, that people just aren't looking at. I'm actually going to do a video on that. And I'm going to do a video just displaying my rock and roll collection. Is that something you guys would like to see? I was going to do it for Halloween. I was actually going to dress up with the rock and roll outfit in the wig like I used to do back in the day. Just didn't get around to do it. It's a busy weekend. But I'm going to, I have another rock and roll sticker coming in the mail. And when that arrives, my collection has grown so big from my rock and roll collection that I want to do a video on it and show you guys everything that I have and talk about the potential of that market. So that's something you guys want to see. Hopefully you'll watch it. Views have been a little bit down, but that's cool. It's not a popularity contest for me. It's just about reaching out there, connecting with you guys. Oh, Neo, I saw you ask me on Instagram. I don't know the dates. You were asking about the Philly show in December. I would like to go because Philly is only like a little bit over an hour drive for me. So it makes sense to go. Last time I went and I got a room at the casino and I went for Saturday and I stayed overnight and I stayed all day Sunday. I would really like to get a table and set up and sell. If we could get a connection to get us a table to maybe sell on a Saturday and a Sunday, then I'll definitely go. If I can't, then I might just go one day, because I felt like being there for 2 days last time, even though I hung out with Ryan from Breakout Cards a lot. We had fun. We went into Philly, went to some trade nights and stuff. 2 days to cover that show was kind of a lot of time. I felt myself going back to a lot of the same tables over and over again. Now, it's a good thing because I ended up buying that Dr. J autograph that was awesome that I missed on Saturday. So maybe, but we'll look at the dates. I'll look at what I have, and we'll see if you want to, I don't know, do 2 nights, meet me there. I can usually lock up a room there. It's at a casino. I work in a casino, so it's kind of like, everybody, you can get connections. So, yeah. Inglorious, what's up? Refs just saved the Chiefs. Hey, Vegas phoned it in, man. That's why I do not bet the NFL. Vegas phoned it in. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me tonight. I'll see you guys in my next video, on my next live drive. Who knows? Could be it tomorrow. Maybe I'll turn the phone on while I'm going to the post office. Until next time, guys, be safe. Have a good night. Good luck in your collecting, your investing, whatever you do. And I'll see you guys later.